Hey there everybody, it's Tish, Tish Hawken here. My usual Monday live, live from Abu Dhabi. For those of you who are going to watch on Facebook Live, then please let me know that you're here if you're going to join me now. I know what time is it now? So it's 9:05 here in Abu Dhabi. In the UK it is 5:05. I don't know what time it is anywhere else in the world. You can figure that one out yourselves. So if you're watching on live, you're going to join me live, please type hashtag live in the comments. Hashtag replay if you're watching on replay, and hashtag newbie if you're a new person. I'd love to be able to say hello to you. Now, for those of you who haven't seen me before, or you have seen me around on Facebook but you've not watched any of my videos, every week on a Monday I do a Facebook Live to hopefully help people who are struggling in life at the moment, successful people maybe, or anybody really who's struggling in life and who's struggling to overcome life's curveballs. And I come in every week and hopefully offer some value to help you get through those difficult times and to maybe reframe and think differently. So what exactly do I do? Well, I am an inner strength coach. I'm Tish Hawken, the inner strength coach, and I help women, I coach women, successful women who are normally really successful, to get over life's curveballs, because sometimes something comes along that really just throws them, and normally they're quite resilient and they can bounce back, but sometimes, you know, things get so sort of difficult that they can't bounce back, and business begins to suffer and careers begin to suffer along with everything else. So that's where I come in, and I offer one-to-one coaching to help these women get through the difficult times. So I missed last week's live, just because, if anybody was wondering where I was, it was purely because my daughter was on half term here in Abu Dhabi, so I took some time off, which was lovely. So the subject of tonight's live is stop waiting and start doing. Now, we hear this a lot, don't we? You know, what you're waiting for and all that kind of thing. Well, there's a lot of truth in it, and what I'm going to talk to you tonight about is how we perceive time and the passage of time, because how we perceive time really has a lot to do with why we're waiting to get something done. So I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to put a question out there. So does time go quickly for you or slowly, or does it depend on certain weeks or certain days? Do you feel like the time is rushing by, or do you feel like life is going pretty slowly for you most of the time? So I'd love to hear your comments on how it is. So part of my role as a coach, as a life coach, is to help my clients achieve the things that they want to achieve, no matter what that is. So if that's getting through, you know, life's difficulties, what it is they actually want on the other side of that. And a lot of the time it means taking action to get the thing that they want. But there's a lot of people that I come across, not only clients, but just in life. You know, you've heard you've heard people saying these things. You may have said them yourself. I know that in the past I've said them, and sometimes I can still be guilty of saying these things. So phrases like, I'll do it next week. When I have the money, I'll commit to it. When the kids are bigger, that's when I'll start my new career or my new passion. Or, you know, when the kids are older, I'll do this, that and the other. When I feel better, that's when I'll start, whatever that may be. Or when the time's right. The time's not quite right now, so when it feels right, that's when I'll do it. So I'm sure you've said things like that in the past. I know that I have, and it's really common that people do that. But time is a funny thing, because we all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours in a day, and time is a really precious commodity. And I think sometimes people can miss just how precious time is, and you only really appreciate how precious time is normally if you've suffered with multiple bereavement or multiple bereavements. like I did. I had multiple bereavements in my younger years, or whether you've been somebody who has been close to death yourself, and then you would really, really appreciate how precious time actually is. It's such a precious commodity, and it's the most priceless commodity we've got out of anything else. So time seems to play tricks on us though, doesn't it? It seems to play tricks on us because sometimes it seems like it drags really slowly, and sometimes it's going really quickly, or it appears that it's going really quickly. So, you know, the hi Sarah, you know, the saying, you know, time flies when you're having fun. Well, there's a reason why, you know, that saying is around, which I'll explain in a minute. But it's all about our perception of time. It's not that time goes quickly or time drags. It's our perception of time, and it happens for a reason. So before I go into why we should stop waiting, I'm glad you came, Sarah. I'm glad you came. Before I go into why we should stop waiting and just start doing, I just want to explain a little bit about why time seems to go slow and seems to speed up, and why when it's going slower, we say to ourselves, I'll do it when I get to this point, I'll do it when, because it's all relevant. So why do we feel like it goes at different speeds? Well, it's time slows down when we're ingesting lots of new information. So say for instance, we're learning a new thing, then time can appear to slow down, because I don't know the scientifics about it because I'm not a neurologist, but what I do know is that there's parts of our brain that fire up when we're learning new things, and then the perception of time part of our brain then makes us think that time is going slower. So it also goes slower when we say, if you've ever been in an accident, or there's about to be an accident, and you know everything goes in slow motion, all of our senses are heightened, and time seems to go slower because we're taking in lots and lots of stimulus, lots of new information really quickly, which actually starts to appear to slow the time down, if that makes sense. Now, time speeds up when we don't have to worry about a lot of things, when a threat is moving away from us, when we relax a bit more, then time seems to go more quickly. And it seems to speed up as we age, doesn't it, as well? So each moment of our lives, we can put like a percentage on it. So like when we're 10, that's 1/10 of our life. And when we're 30, that's 1/30 of our life. And when we're 80, that's 1/80 of our life. So there's some theories that as we go on in our lives, time speeds up because the percentage of life we've got left is less. And so time appears to speed up. That's one theory as well. So if we look at like the different ages, so for children, when I talked about just a second ago about time slowing down when they're learning new things, if you think about it, when we're a child, we're born with a blank slate, aren't we? And so when we're learning new things as a child, say like we have a summer, we're maybe 6-7 years old, and we have a summer, and they seem really long, don't they? If you look back and you think, why did the summers seem so long when we were children? And this is because we're still learning new things. So when we go through those summers, we're having new experiences, we're learning new things, we're meeting new people. And so because we're bringing in that information, it slows down our perception of time. And as we go on into adulthood, when we have our summers, if you like, just to use that example, what happens is we've sort of been there, done it, worn the t-shirt, you know, as we get into our older lives, so maybe into our 30s and 40s and 50s, the new experiences are less and less and less, and thus the time doesn't slow down as much as it did when we were children, when we were learning new things. And so that's why the perception of time when we're younger seems to be slower and the perception of time when we're older seems to be quicker. It's because we're not learning as many new things as we used to when we were younger. So here's a little bonus for you today, one which I wasn't actually planning, but it is true. I have been researching this. So if you're getting older and you want to slow down the perception of time because you think time is going too quick, then what you need to do is to go out and learn new things. You need to seek the new. So if you go to your job, take a different route every day because you're going to have to learn something new. When we do things routinely and we know it, there's no new information coming in. Find a new hobby, or if you're thinking about doing a new career, if you're thinking about going into business, learn how to go into business. But the secret of slowing down the perception of time is to learn new things. So get yourselves out there and learn new things. I'm learning all the time. I'm learning new things all the time, so I'm trying to slow everything down. So here's another question for you. So how does time appear for you for the most part? So for the most part, so I asked you earlier, does time go quickly or slowly for you? But for the most part, how does time go for you? And if you're brave enough, let me know how old you are as well, because it'd be interesting if the younger people feel like the time goes slower and the older people feel like the time goes quicker. So in my head, it's two ways. So I can look back over my life. So I'm 48 years old now. Now I can look back over my life to date. I reckon happy birthday, Sarah, 43. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. So I can look back, say, to, I don't know, sometimes things go slow for me. So I can look back at certain situations back in maybe the 80s or the 90s that feel like it was yesterday. But I can also think back to my childhood when I was 5 or 6, and that feels like a long, long time ago. But the reason why the things that I look back on over the 80s and 90s feel like yesterday is because they were negative events. And another thing is that when we feel like things only happened yesterday and they were in fact years ago, is normally they are memorable events. They really made an impact on your life. So it could be, something happy, like a wedding or a birth, but it also could be something negative as well that happened to you. So my two daughters, one's 18, one's 11. Now, giving birth to my children does feel like yesterday, but they were memorable events. So if you see what I'm saying, that makes sense. So has this got all to do with my subject tonight of this live of stop waiting and start doing? Well, if time is going slow for you and you think you've got lots and lots of time, we may have lots and lots of time in theory. So as I said, I'm 48 years old and, I see myself as halfway through my life. Hopefully I'll live until I'm 90 plus. So I see myself as having lots of time to do things. Yet it doesn't stop me from doing the things that I want to do. And it hasn't stopped me for a long time. Now, why is this? Why is it that some people sort of get out there and do things and just sort of grab life by the short and curlies and just get on with it? And why do sometimes people say, when this, when that? Just for me, personally, I realised very early on that life was short, and that was because I struggled with multiple bereavements. I had 3 bereavements within 10 years. And so witnessing those bereavements taught me that life is really short, and it gave me a real good kick up the bum. Sarah, I worked out I have 7 years until 50, which is 84 months. Does not sound very long. No, it doesn't. And this is the thing, Sarah, this is the thing. When we say years sounds like a long time, but when we break it down into months, sometimes it can seem like less time, but it's all the same. It's all about how we think about it. So, so I realised early on that time is a really precious commodity, and that if I wanted to do things with my life, I had to get out and do them. It's simple. I had to put the time and effort in to get out and do them. If I wanted to achieve something, if I wanted to change my career, which I have done twice now, I've changed my career twice now, I had to get out and do it. And so there's something about making a decision, about deciding that no matter how much time you think you have, of just biting the bullet and doing it, because thinking about it won't get it done. Now, it could be anything from losing weight. You know, I've never been able to lose that final, I don't know, whatever you've got to lose, stone, 2 stone, final few pounds. And, you know, I'll lose the weight when the time's right. I'm just going to get Christmas over with. Oh, I'm just going to get Easter over with. You know what I'm talking about. Or it could be that, you know, you do hate your job and you do want to go into business, or, you know, do something different, have a different career. But you think, I haven't got enough money to set up, or I haven't got the funds to go to university and study. Well, if you make a decision to do it, you will find that money, you will find those resources. It's all about making the decision first to do it. Because if you think about it, rather than just doing it, in a year's time, you're going to be exactly in the same place and nothing will have happened. And then in another year's time, you're going to be exactly in the same place. And so the way that I get my clients to think about these things, especially when they're really, really stuck and they know a change has to be made, is I ask them, if they're on their deathbed, which is a little bit morbid, I know, but bear with me, what will they not want to have to say? So will they not want to have to say, I wish I had, or I wish I didn't? You know, and it's looking at that. What would you not want to say that you hadn't achieved on your deathbed? And I think that's a pretty good sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a pretty good marker of exactly what it is you want. What is your passion? What is your desire that you want to do, that you keep putting off all the time? And you know that if you did it, your life and others' lives around you would be much better, and you'd be a happier person. What's that one thing that you want to do that you just keep saying, I will do it when? Because time doesn't wait for no man. It waits for no man. And once we make that decision to put the time and effort in to changing things, then you get to the other side of it, whether that's going to take you a week, a year, 5 or even 10 years, depending on which goal you have, long, short, medium or long term. You're going to get there in the end. And it does take time and it does take effort and it does take commitment. Most things do. So my point is what is your burning desire? What is it? What is the one thing that you're being putting off? I'd love to hear in the comments if you're brave enough to let me know, whether you're live or on replay. And what are you going to do about it now after hearing this? Are you going to do anything about it? Are you going to set some wheels in motion? If you're struggling to make a decision, then you can go back to, this is episode 9, you could go back to episode 8. It is on YouTube and it is on this page as well, where I talk about how to make a decision and why making decisions can be hard and how to overcome that. So that's in the last episode. But that's about it for me today, about the passage of time. Stop waiting and start doing, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You know, I remember growing up, when I was growing up, it's quite, I wouldn't say it was very like majorly privileged, but my parents were you know, working class, and you know, they both worked, and I always felt like things were going to be taken care of for me, like you do when you're a child. And it was a massive, you know, light bulb moment when I realised that actually, if I want anything done, I've got to do it myself. So if it is to be, it's up to me. And nobody's going to do it for you, so you may as well just get on and do it and achieve it, and you know, kick those goals and kick them right out the water, and don't let time get ahead of you. You know, you get ahead of time, and make sure that, you know, you treat it with the respect it deserves, I suppose, because time is the only thing that we've all got that's actually free, apart from air. So thanks very much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will see you next Monday with episode 10. Take care, have a great evening. Bye.